What's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Will back with another video, and today we got another interesting video topic. Now look, so I came up with the idea, man. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna look inside our division here. We got on purple. We not Ravens fans, but we're gonna look inside our division here. And I want to go through and I want to rank each wide receiver room. We want to go through all the position groups. So this video is going to be ranking the wide receiver room. Next video, we'll probably do running backs. We're going to go through offense, and then we'll go through the defense. We're going to do major position. Well, we could do damn near every. We probably a group defensive line and offensive line together. Not like together, but we're not going to do like tackle versus tackle. We're going to do all the offensive line pieces put together versus all the defensive line pieces put together, essentially, is how we do it. But this video, we're going to start off hot. Wide receiver, man. Ranking the wide receivers. Now, automatically, I think the clear-cut number 4 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers roster, let's pull them up. Pittsburgh Steelers. Outside of George Pickens, they don't have anybody proven. And I think that's their biggest problem there. They lost Deontay Johnson and didn't replace him. Not as if like Deontay Johnson was a household name, but he's a good wide receiver. He's a good wide receiver, and he's a key wide receiver to lose in that room for nothing. They traded him, and when they end up getting Roman Wilson in the draft, he's an unproven commodity. We don't know how good he'll be. We don't know how many targets he'll get. He's going to work and have to fight for targets. He got Quez Watkins there as well, Denzel Mims. Van Jefferson, he's going to have to work for his targets. Like, he's going to be given opportunity with Mike Tomlin. But the bulk of the targets is definitely going to go to George Pickens. And then, he's going to have Roman Wilson. Number 2 in targets is going to probably be Firemouth. And then they'll have whoever sprinkle in from there. Probably Van Jefferson and Roman Wilson from there. But that's the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver room. I think one of the worst wide receiver rooms in the NFL. I think they're probably about the bottom 24 wide receiver room. They're probably like a tops. Yeah, probably one of the 6 worst wide receiver rooms in the NFL. Obviously, they're great in other positions, though. So I'm going to put them 4. Number 3, I think I want to go ahead and do the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, if we go ahead and look at the Baltimore Ravens, they really didn't add anybody on a wide receiver. They brought their guys back. They got Bateman, Zay Flowers. So they got what? I think Zay Flowers he's probably a 2. All honesty, he's probably a 2. He's 5'9". I don't think he's as good enough to really break off and have like a Tyreek Hill type of year. I don't see that for him. So I think he's a 2. I think Zay Flowers is a 2, like I said. Rashad Bateman, is he a 2? I don't really know. I think he's a 3. And then, you got D'Angelo Hardy, Deontay Hardy, and a whole bunch of unproven commodities. So that's where I'm going to put the Ravens there. I think the Bengals and the Browns both have wide receivers on their team that's better far and away than the wide receivers on the Steelers or the Baltimore Ravens. And yes, that's including George Pickens. Not that George Pickens is a scrub or anything like that. He's a very good player, but he hasn't really proven to be a top-tier guy to compete with Jamar Chase, or T. Higgins, Amari Cooper. Maybe not even Jerry Jeudy. So, no, I could be wrong on that. And he probably is right up there with Jerry Jeudy stat-wise, if not even better. But I have to take, obviously, a look into that. But you get the point of, I think the Baltimore Ravens is number 3 over the Pittsburgh Steelers because of Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. You could argue that, George Pickens is better than Zay Flowers, so that alone should leave off. But the drop-off from Rashad Bateman and Roman Wilson, I think, is significant. So that's why I would put the Ravens slightly over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 2. This was a tough one, man. This was definitely a tough one. But number 2, I think we're going to have to go with the Cleveland Browns. Now, with the Browns being number 2 here, I'm putting the Browns 2 for a couple reasons. A lot of reasons, mainly to be who's the number 1 team. The Browns got Amari Cooper. Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore. You know, Coop's a proven #1 wide receiver. And then you got a couple of unproven #2s. You know, you got Jerry Jeudy, unproven #2. He could be a really good #2. He could, you know, be a 3. We don't know. We got Elijah Moore. He could be a 2. He could be a 3. We don't know. Same with Cedric Tillman. He could be a 2. He could be a 3. He could be off the team. We don't know. So I think the drop off between, I think actually Amari Cooper and Jamar Chase is about in the same ballpark. But the drop off between T. Higgins and Jerry Jeudy is significant. I think it's very significant. So that's my reasoning for putting the Browns too. I think Amari Cooper and Jamar Chase is in the same conversation, definitely. But I think T. Higgins is clear in a way better than anybody that's better than Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore. Way better. So, and #1, we're going to go ahead and go with the Cincinnati Bengals. Looking at the Cincinnati Bengals, man, they've had #1 wide receivers, even though they lost Tyler Boyd, a pretty good, solid #2. Now they got 2 still #1 wide receivers with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They're going to be like LeBron and AD as far as the wide receivers, where they just catching everything. And this is still one of, if not the best wide receiver room in the league. And yeah, I mean, you could maybe go with like, you know, the Eagles, but I think the Steelers probably the best wide receiver room in the league, even over the Texans. So I think the Browns probably got a top 10 wide receiver room, maybe a top 12. Obviously, I think the Bengals is a top 2, if not 1, wide receiver room in the league. I think Baltimore is probably about top 20. Pittsburgh probably about top 20, top 24, like I said. So pretty decent for the AFC North. Not its best position group by far. I think once we get to the defensive side of the football, we're going to get really nasty, especially on that defensive line group. And yeah, you guys let me know what you think. So we're going to got Pittsburgh #4, Baltimore #3, Cleveland Browns #2, and we got the Cincinnati Bengals #1. That's how we're going to rank the wide receiver rooms going into the 2024-2025 season. It's your boy. Like the damn video. I'm out. Peace.